Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our special 100th episode
Yes.
live stream. I was like, how do I finish that out here? So our 100th episode launched today. And this is just kind of our little way of like in-office celebration of hitting 100 episodes, which is kind of crazy to do in general.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride and it's been really fun.
That's awesome. You're right. Yes, it has been. That's Lauren Lewis. She's my awesome co-host.
Hey.
I'm Brian Fitton. This is weird. They're like not starting it out like a traditional episode because it's not. But we are so excited because today we're going to be doing a lot of really cool things. So we're actually doing some giveaways.
Yeah.
Right? So we have some t-shirts, some gift cards, some stickers. We also have some hats that we don't have like here because I forgot them at my house.
Yeah.
But some really cool giveaways. So make sure that if you want to enter the giveaway, we have it on the banner here below. But make sure you tell us what movie you think everyone must watch. So this is one of our rapid fire questions that we do at the end of our episodes. So we thought this would be appropriate. So tell us what movie you think everyone should watch in the comments, and that's all you have to do to get entered to win. A t-shirt or buttered biscuit gift card or
buttered biscuit or a t-shirt from TC Printing.
Yeah.
Our faves.
TC does all of our printing in general, but they have some amazing merchandise that you guys should go check out as well. So make sure that you jump in and tell us exactly what movie you should watch to get entered into the giveaway. But we also have some amazing guests. We have C.R. Braniff. He's going to be jumping on. He was actually recorded with us about a year ago, but he is a two-time guest.
He is.
Yes. Always bringing his episodes are one of the most downloaded that we have because he just brings so much value. He's going to be jumping in with us as well as Randy from I Am Northwest Arkansas, also a local podcast, but he has just his wealth of information about podcasting is just so good. And so we're excited to have him on the show as well. So why don't we actually, Lauren, tell us. I hadn't even prepped you for this.
Awesome. I love that.
Tell us exactly what was the vision from the beginning of the podcast, like where you wanted to take it. It's kind of changed a little bit, but what has your experience been like podcasting? Because you weren't a podcaster before, right?
No, I was not. I still am not a huge podcast listener, to be honest, even though I am a podcast host, but I have become a bigger podcast fan for sure.
Good.
But yeah, it was really interesting. Starting the first time I ever recorded a podcast was this podcast. I wasn't ever on anybody else's, so it was a really interesting experience. Kind of getting over the nerves of that and learning how to actually host, it's a skill set for sure.
Yeah.
But it was been really fun. We've met a lot of interesting people that had unique stories to tell and to share about their innovation in social media and in video marketing. It's been really cool. We've definitely gone down the route of shifting a little bit more into the innovative aspect, as well as looking at more of like social trends and tools. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Was that what you were looking for?
That was fantastic, Lauren. Always good. Always, my crazy antics. You never know if you've listened to our podcast. You never know exactly where we're going.
Wow, that was a crazy question.
This is terrible. I'm saying in general, we never know because I will just Randy. He's one of those guys that he's really good. He's a great host. I'm kind of all over the map. And so I need a co-host to kind of rein me back in sometimes. Is that not true, Lauren?
It is true.
All right. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring on CR. He is in the waiting room right there. Jacob, bring him on up there. What is up, my friend?
Man, you guys are killing me. I swear. I love it. That's why I love coming on this show. Is you're right. You never know what to expect. Lauren, thank you for reining in your co-host there. Just off the wall. Yes. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, CR, we know that when we bring you on, you can just roll with the punches too, man. You're just like, you know what?
Sure. Brian, I can take
I'm bringing you. Exactly.
We're tattoo buddies. I found that out a couple weeks ago. What are the odds?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So CR, you and I have kind of developed a friendship digitally. We've never met in real life, but
Yeah.
that's what I love about podcasting, YouTube, all the stuff that just kind of brings people together that have, kind of the same life story or interest or whatever it is. And so you have become a guy that I really appreciate seeing your posts and your family and your updates and obviously the videos and stuff you guys are producing. But tell us just a little bit about you and this Gathered Nest, your awesome family, and what you guys do.
Yeah, so my wife and I are basically full-time social media content creators. I hate using that word influencer. I think it's just yuck, kind of. But prior to that, I was in corporate America, working for about 10 to 15 years. The last 5 of that was primarily in content creation for we'll say a Fortune 50 brand. And I kind of learned the business, the analytics and behind the scenes stuff of what goes into creating successful social media content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all the things. And I said, you know what? Why am I doing this for somebody else when I could come home and help my wife do it for our brand? So we've been primarily creating content on YouTube now for about 5 or 6 years, and we do it full time. Our primary content is in kind of that vlog space, but over the last year, we're kind of transitioning out into different formats. I think the one good thing about all this COVID craziness and this weird reset of 2020, it's allowed us to kind of take a step back and really pivot. So we've got a lot going on. We bought a farm last year, and I'm like the least handy person I know. And so I'm just getting into everything and breaking things and fixing things and bringing an audience along for the ride. So it's been pretty interesting.
Absolutely. Well, it's been fun to see the updates too, because the space that you're in is new as well. You just finished the flooring.
Yeah. So this is, so we needed an office. The house we bought didn't have any space for Angie and I to work, and we've got 8 kids. And so you can imagine trying to run a podcast out of your closet, which is what my wife was doing for the first 6 months we moved in, working out of her closet. And we're like, you know what, we need to build something. So we found like this cabin thing online. And I'm not lying to you. It's like Lincoln Logs for adults. And so they dropped this thing off on a pallet, and it was just this giant cube. And once you unwrap the package, wood just spills out all over my yard. And so I'm like, what did I get myself into? Now, the advertisement says it takes 2 guys about 3 days to build. I'm like, okay, I could do this then. It took all winter. Like, I literally just finished the flooring, and we got this thing late in the fall, but it's now functional. It's still standing. I come back and maybe a year from now, we might have some issues, but I did build it. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, man.
So on our, I guess, previous episode that we've had with you, you've talked about telling stories through video, which I think you guys do a phenomenal job of that. And so translating that with your corporate experience and content creation that you've done in that world, you guys are doing now, going and doing this in your everyday life. And so that's what I love. And the value that you brought to our audience of being able to do that was phenomenal. But take us just real quick of like your thoughts about how do you tell a great story through video and really connect with an audience?
So themes are always very important. I think that's one thing we've talked a lot about. You know, regardless of what type of business you're in, there's always a niche, right? There's always a specialty. There's always some kind of value that you're trying to provide for your customer. And in our line of work, the way we storytell through video, our content themes have changed a little bit. We went pretty heavy into like adoption related content early on, which is kind of what was growing our stuff. And not that we still don't talk about adoption, but now we have other interests as well. You know, we want to talk about hobby farming. We want to talk more about our faith. We want to talk about the importance of family. And so we're telling stories that are still riveting. The brain is wired with story. That's what captivates an audience. That's what keeps them around. That's where they get value. That's where they get entertainment. You can tell educational stories. I mean, there's so many facets of being able to break that down, but the type of content and the way we're telling stories has changed a little bit. And it's based on our interests. It's not fake. It's not inauthentic. It's just, we're people, we grow, we change over time. We have goals and aspirations. And We're just taking the type of content that we do in different directions. And that's something that I think more content creators need to do. In today's day and age, what happens is they get siloed into this area where they feel trapped, and you can get burnout with some of that stuff. And I think the theme for 2021 needs to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, right? If you've got other interests, don't be afraid to venture out there and test the waters. I know this is something that I think the three of us talked about as well, is discovery content versus community-based content, right? Whatever type of content you're creating on these platforms, you're doing one of two things. You're either serving your community, or you're building content that's developed to attract new audiences. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. We're kind of in that discovery phase where I didn't absorb a lot of hobby farming content before, but now that's all that's being recommended to me on YouTube as a viewer and as a consumer, because I'm out there trying to learn how to build a Lincoln log cabin, for crying out loud. And so it's brought me to different content creators. And that's something that each of, if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur or you're a creator on these social platforms, be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Try something new. If it doesn't work, calibrate, move on, right? And that's kind of the way the algorithm works. You know, we like to build all these strategies and these tactics, and once we find something that sticks, we stay there. And that may work for a period of time, but it's not necessarily sustainable. Change is inevitable. We have to get comfortable with that, and now is just as good as a time as any.
Man, I love that. I love that. That's so good. And that's, I mean, just here's the deal, CR. I mean, you guys obviously are adapting, you're pivoting. I mean, again, a year ago when we had your last episode, I mean, so much has changed in that standpoint. And so it's awesome to see that you are in that discovery content mode too. And that's, I mean, again, dude, you bring in the value even in just our live episode celebration. You're just like, yeah, absolutely. This is where you got to go with this.
Sorry,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it just spills out sometimes. I can't help it.
I love that. And that's one of those things too. I think as content creator, I always say this on LinkedIn too, because everybody feels like they have to be in this box. And I'm like, the stuff that it gets most engagement is you being real and being human, right? And being able to say, okay, I'm going to put out this. It's not me buttoned up in a suit and tie. You know, it's like, it's kind of expanding. And I know that with YouTube, there's this box that you feel like you have to be in. If you're like, well, this is the path that I started, I have to stay on it, but that's not true. And that's awesome to see you guys doing that.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. You guys too. Like I said, the podcast has evolved since. It's so funny. I was on Facebook a little while before joining this call, and I don't remember if you remember, but today is actually the 2-year anniversary that I was on your wife's podcast with you. Like, the irony of that. How weird is that? And so I'm scrolling through there, and I'm like, gosh, it's been a long time, man. But yeah, I think watching your guys' show grow and listening to some of the episodes that have piqued my interest. I mean, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I'm super happy for you. I'm proud of you guys for what it's worth. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you so much, Eric. That means a lot, man. Absolutely.
So besides, llamas and rabbits and building houses, I love all your pictures. It makes me want to get a llama, but it would be a bad idea for me.
They're feisty, I tell you what.
That's why I want one. But anyways, what is next for This Gathered Nest? Sure.
So Angie's actually in the early stages of fleshing out her second book. I think last year she released her very first book called Love Without Borders, and coming back around for round 2. So she's in the stages there. And then with regards to the farm, we've actually got a garage that's going to be going up and a barn that's going to be going up here in the next month or so. I am not building that. I do not trust myself doing something of that magnitude, if you will. And then shortly after that, it's like this first year has been in the building stages, kind of getting the property up and running and getting the animals on site and getting everybody prepped for them. Once the barn and garage are here, I'm gonna kick my feet up probably and have a big glass of sweet tea. That's what we do in the South, apparently, is drink a lot of sweet tea. So that's where I'll be. Hopefully it'll be summertime and we can actually just enjoy a lot of the hard work that we've put in.
Oh man, I love that.
That's
You deserve
awesome.
it, my friend.
Thank you,
Seriously.
sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for supporting us, for being on the show. We're gonna have you back here really soon.
Yes, sir.
But to make sure that you guys go check out their channel. Actually, where can they find you guys so that we can make sure you get you some subscribers?
Yeah. So on Instagram, you can follow me at cr_Braniff. My wife has all the branded stuff, so you can find Angela at This Gathered Nest, and then our YouTube channel is This Gathered Nest. Angie also has a personal channel which she does different types of content, a lot more targeted, and it's just Angela Braniff on YouTube as well. So those are the primary drivers of where we're at. So would love to see you guys there.
Yeah, thanks so much, CR. You've been a great friend of the show. We appreciate it, and one day we'll come out and visit or something. I don't know. We'll do a live.
Oh, you have to. I'll get you on a llama, man. We'll saddle you up.
Love it. All right. Hey, take care.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, CR just a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
I just love their family. I love what they do. Just, I mean, super inspiring stuff, but just an all around good guy and tattoo twin, apparently.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do another episode on that one.
A whole episode.
A whole episode on that.
Jacob is excited. You can see it on his face.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Next we have Randy Wilburn from I Am Northwest Arkansas coming up. Let's go ahead and bring him up.
What's going on, guys?
Hey!
Randy,
Hey, what's happening?
we are so honored to have you on our show today. This is not even our traditional show, just our little celebration of 100 episodes, which you recently hit as well. I say recently, you're like, what, 215, 220? Where are you at now? With your
on this particular show, 116. I hit 100 a couple of months ago, so it's just happening so fast. You know, it really is. Don't blink.
Yes, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you as well.
This is so much.
It's always this community. I absolutely love it, and that's whenever we discovered your podcast, I was like, we got to have Randy on. We got to figure out a way to get him on our show. And then you were like, hey, you should come on my show. And then that collaboration, obviously, is just so great. But Randy, tell us a little bit about you and about your show.
Sure. Well, my name is Randy Wilburn. I'm the host, creator, producer of the podcast I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm also a podcast strategy consultant, so I work with firms to help them tell their story through the power of voice and podcasting. And I Am Northwest Arkansas was more of a passion play than anything else, because it was really the podcast that I would have wanted to hear when I moved here in 2014. So it is now taken on a life of its own. I'm 2 years into it, 116 episodes, and just new things keep happening every day. So I'm excited.
I love that. And that's so we have a clip that we played for our 100th of your episode when you were here with us in studio, and it was just, it's one of those things that somebody was like, you just got that radio voice. Like, you just sit and listen to Randy all day. You can talk about whatever you wanted to, man. You got the voice that just captivates people. And that's, I love that. Just even sitting and listening to our episode and some of the episodes you've done, I'm just like, Randy, you have just a way about you that commands attention, but you bring so much value as well. And so we talked about kind of the future of podcasting, right? And that was one of the things that really stuck out. But in recent announcements, obviously with Apple and everything, all the stuff yesterday, it is going in line with what you said back. I think we recorded back in November.
Oh, I will always remember that episode because it was election day.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We recorded on election day. That's hilarious. But Randy, tell us just a little bit, because you're in this space, you're in this community, in this world. Tell us just a little bit about podcasting, where you think it's really going. Even, with announcements recently from Apple and kind of the world of podcasting, it seems like it's changing every single week. What are your thoughts on that?
It really is. I think that, podcasting can transport you in time and place to a lot of different places, no pun intended. And the thing that I love about podcasting is that everybody's story matters. And a lot of times people need to be reminded of that. Your story matters, my story matters, our story matters. And to me, podcasting is the perfect canvas to tell that story, right? I mean, you got artists that tell their stories through art. You have videographers that tell their story through video. Podcasting is a great way to tell your story through voice. And there's something about the spoken word, and it's just becoming more and more powerful. Like you said, Apple just made that announcement. I already signed up. I don't know if you guys signed up, so I'm gonna play around with this whole new creator studio that they've got going. And it's becoming more accepted. And as more people, as we hit that influx of more listeners on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, you're going to see it become more mainstream. And to me, the sky is the limit with podcasting because you can do so many things with it. I was meeting with somebody today for coffee this morning, and we were talking about just potentially starting a podcast for his organization. It's a nonprofit. And I just walked them through like all the different paths and the iterations and stories that he has already in his reserve that he could just share through a podcast. And so to me, I see it as fertile ground. What you guys are doing with Go Rogue, I mean, what's happening in this area with the whole maker movement, period, in the nation, but the maker movement that's happening here in Northwest Arkansas, I think it's profound. And podcasting is one part of that. I think of myself as a maker because I'm taking something that didn't exist and I'm putting it in your ears, in short order. And that's, to me, is one of the beauties of podcasting.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. I
Yeah.
feel just inspired right now.
Yes.
Be inspired.
Yes.
So Randy, what's next for you? What's next for your podcast?
Oh man, so the podcast is continuing to evolve, and like I said, it is taking on a life of its own. I get so many requests, but here's the thing. This is the thing that really is moving me more than anything else. I just got an email the other day from somebody that I don't even know, but they were like, "Your podcast is the reason why we moved to Northwest Arkansas. They want to take me to dinner." I've had several people tell me that. People that have come here to work for Walmart, Tyson, you fill in the blanks. So the podcast, I'm trying to channel that energy in a positive way so that I can not only engage, my homeboys and homegirls that are right here in my neighborhood, but I also want to engage those people that want to come here because, as you know, this place is going to double in terms of population in the next 20 years. So, I'm just trying to figure out ways to do that. So one thing that I'm working on is that I want to create a platform for small businesses and organizations to tell their story through voice. Right here locally, so that even if you're a company, if you're a pizza shop, I don't care what you are, you have a story to tell. You have a why behind why you open the doors. It's money is an important part of it, but there's so much more to that you have to consider. And honestly, if you want to engage your audience, if you want to create raving fans, people that just will travel across the way. I mean, I traveled to Bentonville just to get Yayo's Mexican food because I love it. I mean, there's just something about it. And I can't find a better nacho plate than what Raphael and those guys make up there. And I'm telling you, it is insane. But the bottom line is you want to be able to kind of share those stories and talk about your business, talk about your why, and talk about the benefits of your business, of your organization. And I think podcasting is one way that you can do that. Doesn't mean you have to have a weekly show like we have. I mean, that's not for everybody, but you can create seasons. You can create some episodes. You can put some stuff out there. And you think of how we consume information, right? We're all excited about the next season of Lupin on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but I can't wait for season 2. But that's a good storyteller gets you hooked. They create an arc, and you follow that arc and to its natural conclusion or to its natural pause where you get ready and you're like, man, I can't wait to the next version of this story. And so I think that's important. And every business, every organization has a story to tell in that fashion. They just don't quite know how to do it. And one of my goals is to help people do that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and even just too, the platform that you've created to be able to highlight businesses and different people doing amazing things, they would not have that ability to promote themselves without somebody like you coming along and saying, hey, I'm going to build this for you. And we're just going to tell interesting stories, bring the community together, and just really, shine some light onto an amazing area that we live in that we really do love. And, people enjoy that and people see the authenticity behind it. You don't have an agenda. You're just like, hey, I just want to highlight people and promote people and share what they're doing. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that so much, and you guys are doing the same thing. I mean, honestly, I'm just playing with. I mean, this is straight up field of dream stuff. This is where it's like, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will listen. Right? That's what we're all
Yeah.
thinking when we think about our podcast, and we're like, is anybody listening? Yeah, actually, people are listening. You'd be surprised, and yeah, it's just that thing. And so I'm trying to create momentum and movement and awareness around this whole platform of podcasting, because again, I think it is so powerful. There are very few mediums where people will put you between their ears for periods of time, right? My kids watch a Mr. Beast video here or there, or Dude Perfect or whatever, and it comes on and it goes off. But people listen to my podcast for 45 minutes straight, and then they
Yeah.
go and listen to another one and same thing with your podcast. So
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it as a responsibility, right, to bring something of quality that people are like, wow, okay, that was great. And so that's every time I go in to meet with somebody to record an episode, that's all I'm thinking about. What is this going to be for the end listener? Is it going to be
Yeah.
something where they turn it off and they're like, man, that was 45 minutes that I'm glad I spent spending time with Randy. It's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, that's the greatest compliment that I can ever ask for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And I think so many people get into the podcasting game with all these big dreams and visions and stuff, but the main
Oh, they
thing
want to
that,
get paid. I mean,
yeah,
I moderate a bunch of clubhouse rooms for podcasting, and that's the first thing out of every brand new podcaster's mouth is, how do I monetize this? And I'm like, slow your roll, man.
yeah,
Just put out some good content. The rest of it will work itself out. And we all want to be Joe Rogan. We all want to sign a 9-figure contract, 8-figure, whatever. But I think, and there's going to be a time and a place for that. And I think some of that is going to come along with a greater level of normalcy in the future. But
mhm,
first, just get used to creating good content, stuff that people want to listen to.
yeah,
And then the rest of it will work itself out. And so that's
yep,
been my mode. That's what you guys are doing. You guys are just creating great content. And
uh,
other things will catch up to what you're doing. I think the rest of it, from the financial and economic factor of podcasting, will catch up. And yeah, there is some expensive material and items that you might need in order to put on a good podcast. But to me, the investment's well worth it, especially if it's something that
absolutely.
you enjoy doing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. And even with that, equipment wise, you can get away with a lot until you really do have to invest, and it will just take your level.
That's
Yes,
all you need, man. Listen,
exactly.
I mean, I walked into your place and I was like a kid at a candy store. I was like, man, they got this, they got the Rodecaster Pro. I mean, I got all that stuff too, but I'm like, man, it's just when you see that and it's like, oh, this is great. But like I tell people, just start out with basics. That's why, I
Mhm.
encourage people that, the iPhone can do so much now, video and voice, that I mean, we carry around this great device in our pockets. That's just,
Mhm.
if you're a creator, if you're a maker, this is where you start and you build on it from there.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. It's all about the content and the value that you're bringing. That's what's going to carry you on to those next levels. And Randy, I mean, you've shown that, and you obviously help people get there as well. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for celebrating with us as well and jumping
Oh
on
man.
with us to talk today.
It's my pleasure. I really, really appreciate you guys, your whole team. I mean, just top notch, and I'm just glad to be partnered up with you guys with what we're doing here. And I think we'll look back in 5 or 10 years and be like, wow, we'll be the OGs of the NWA scene when it comes to podcasting. So
I
that's
was
going to
thinking
be
about
kind
that
of
when you
cool.
said 20 years from now, it's going to be, I was like, 20 years.
Yeah.
We will be like those guys. Hey, you remember those old guys that used to do that podcast, right?
Listen, as long as I have breath, I'm going to be doing something along this line. So
Yeah,
don't laugh when you see a 70-year-old dude cranking it up. And at that point, the technology is going to be, I've ratcheted myself in for the ride. So
I love it. I love it.
Well, Randy, for all of our listeners, where can they learn more about you? Where can they find you?
absolutely, you can connect with me at iamnorthwestarkansas.com. It's the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life here in the Ozarks. You can also reach me, Randy, at iamnorthwestarkansas.com, and encouragebuildgrow.com. So, and I'm easy to find at Randy Wilburn on Twitter and Instagram. So you can just check me out anywhere. Please say hello, reach out if you need help, have questions, whatever I can do to help you, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, and check out Randy's reels on Instagram too, man. You've been crushing on the reels. So make sure you guys-
Yeah, I'm like, you know, it's quickly. I was like amazed that some of my reels are just off the charts, and I'm still trying to figure out that whole algorithm with the reels and why some take off and others are like crickets. But like, I just did one last night that's had huge numbers, and I'm just like, all I did was say something really simple. So
yeah.
there's something to it, and I think the cadence of just, you know, showing up every day and pressing record is important. So
Absolutely. Randy, thank you, my friend. We appreciate you being on
appreciate
today.
you guys, yeah, and I'll be over there to see you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right,
Awesome.
take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Oh man, this has been so much fun.
It has been. I'm excited for the next 100.
Yes, and we're gonna get there.
Yes,
in no
we
time.
are.
Just like Randy said, it was like it's almost flown by. Like it really has. It's just been when we look back over, it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're up to 100. Like we're getting close. Like we probably need to plan something out. So I'm so grateful, honestly, for you, Lauren, my co-host,
Oh, thanks.
as well as our team, Jacob. Switch over that camera, Jacob. There he is. Oh, he says. Jacob has been a great addition to our team. Just audio wise, he's audio master. Is that what we called him? And wordsmith, right?
I think he prefers audio engineer, but yes, we do call him our audio master.
Just a phenomenal dude to our team, and is obviously up to our clients' production as well as our production. And then on top of that, Ava Ellis, who is our content coordinator, handles all things podcast, put a lot of this stuff together, and just really tried to bring you guys a phenomenal 100th episode to highlight so many amazing people who have been on our show and brought value to you and to us. Honestly, we get so much out of doing this show, and we are super grateful for all that you guys have done, all that you guys have just supported us along the way. And I know I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Brandon. Actually, he just commented as well, but he mentioned about just a good word from Randy, and I agree. Brandon tried to post a picture, I guess, in the group about his shirt. So we're gonna make sure, Brandon, you go away with something here today, because Brandon has been a great supporter of our show, and we really do appreciate you, man. As well as several people. We have a ton of people that just give us some feedback, really great feedback on the production, the quality, the content, everything. And we just are so happy that you guys are a part of our community.
Absolutely. We will be announcing the giveaway tomorrow, so stay on the edge of your seat.
Yes. On the edge of your seat. Make sure. And again, if you guys are not already in our Facebook group, jump over there so you guys can join that group. We got a bunch of amazing creators who are in that space.
Yep.
And connect with other people who are creating digital content, going rogue.
Yes, it's called Rogue Creators, just because Brian didn't just find the Facebook group, but find
That's
ours,
it.
which is Rogue Creators.
There you go. Go find any Facebook group, but you should especially find the Rogue Creators Facebook group.
Yes. And if you have not subscribed to our podcast, please, it really helps us out, and drop a review if you'd like to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, I guess until the next 100, Lauren.
Yeah, 200.
I mean,
That's how it works.
200 is coming up. Get ready for it. Let us know what you guys want to see. We appreciate you so much. And we're out. Thank you.